here with Are You Prepared Mama? And today we're going to go ahead and put wheat berries into buckets with Mylar and oxygen absorbers. And this time I am going to show you how to do this when you don't have zippered bags, because that's how I started out with it. And I think everybody needs to know, just in case you can't get zippered bags, which I have to admit are so much easier to use. But let's start with this. So I have over here 6-gallon bags, no zipper. So that's what we're going to use today. When you're doing something like this and you don't have a zipper, you're going to have to do all of one type at a time, because your oxygen absorbers can cause problems for you, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So I'm going to start by inserting the bags into the buckets. So we've got 2 of them. And that's about all it should take to do this 50-pound bag of hard red wheat. So once we have the bags down inside, I want to talk to you a little bit about how to open your bags. Your bags have 2 different ends. One end, sometimes it's a long braid, sometimes it's not. You pull on it and nothing happens. But the other end, if you pull on it, it comes off very easily, and it makes it so much easier to open your bags. So make sure you're looking for that. So I'm going to take those off and set those aside. Then we're going to go ahead, and I use a clean pitcher, to scoop out the wheat berries and put them in the buckets, because it's too heavy to lift this bag off by itself. So this is how we do it. All right, we're going to scoop the wheat berries down in. And once we get a good amount, then I like to take the Mylar bag and I like to bounce it, because that will settle all of the wheat to the bottom, which gives me more space in the top to put more wheat in. And it's better to get as many in as you can, because that way you're using up less buckets that you can use for other things, less oxygen absorbers. It makes better sense. So we're going to keep filling this until it looks like it's all the way up to the top lid. All right, so right now, when I'm looking at this, it's right here. So I'm going to bounce that a couple more times, and that gives me another couple inches. So I'm going to add a little bit more. And then I go down to the bucket, and I'm going to bounce it and shimmy, bounce and shimmy. When I do that, it settles everything even further and allows me to get even more in. Now you do want to make sure you leave a little bit of room at the top, because you're going to be stuffing this Mylar bag down into it. So you do want to leave that room to make it better. So bounce and shimmy, bounce and shimmy. Now, this is where things are different from if you have Mylar bags that are zippered. These ones we're going to have to seal ourselves, and there's a couple of different ways to do it. This first one, we're just going to use a board. So, any old board. We got it out of our storage building outside, her storage shed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it across the bucket, and I'm going to fold the Mylar bag down. Now, when I do this, you do not want to seal the entire way across. You just want to seal most of the way across, and then we're going to drop the oxygen absorber in. So make sure you're not sealing it all the way. And I'm going to use just a regular iron. It doesn't hurt the iron, no issues with it, but it will seal the bag for us. So I just go, but we do not want the seam on. So I'm going to turn that off. So I'm just going to go across the bag, and the heat will seal the bag. So if you take a look, it's sealed. That side is sealed, and I can't get into that. That's what we want the majority of the way across. You use a 2x4 or another piece of wood like this that's flat, so that it keeps it from bunching up because if it bunches up and oxygen can get inside, that's not going to help you keep your food good for 30 years. So I'm going to go all the way across and leave about 2 inches on this side. Now, these oxygen absorbers I got through mylarpro.com, and I do not think that they're actually, that company is still going good, but I got these back then and they work. What I love is that they're individually packaged. So it used to be you'd get a whole thing of 10 oxygen absorbers and you'd have to use them all right away, or else the oxygen will be absorbed by them and they're no good anymore. But these, because they're individually packed, I can cut across, open just one. You will need to fold it to fit it in those 2 inches. Bring this up, stuff it in till it is down, and then you need to get as much oxygen out as you can. So I'm going to stuff this down and get as much of the oxygen out as I can, pull it back, set this up, and then I'm going to iron those last 2 inches. And there we go. I'm ironing across those last 2 inches. Now, we have about 25 pounds of wheat berries sealed in a bucket. So we're going to go ahead and stuff this down in. I have lids that I purchased from Azure Standard. They're hard to get on, but that means they're going to stay with you. You got to work them the whole way around. And when you hear that last click, it is on. Do not forget to put your label on your bucket, because you don't want to get caught in 5 years saying, I have no idea what's in this bucket. What do I do? Make sure you have your label with what it is and the date that you put it in and sealed it. You can put it on the top or put it on the side, but that is how I handle it. And we have done wheat berries with non-sealed, with non-zippered Mylar for 30 years of food storage.